South Africa is one of the few countries in the world that formally recognizes water as a human right. 10 years ago, there were 14 million people without access to clean running water. A decade later, 10 million people now have access to basic water services. But there is still a way to go. Fortunately, South African ingenuity and the resourcefulness of certain socially responsible companies combine to provide a unique solution to the problem.
Water, the basis of all life on Earth. Without it, there'd be no living things. Yet, how we take it for granted. Open a tap and it's there, gushing forth. We heat it, cool it, boil it and freeze it. We drink it, cook with it, irrigate with it, play in it and bath in it. We use it and abuse it. Indeed, a supply of clean water is one of our fundamental human rights. And for most South Africans, this need is satisfied. Somehow, a tap is always nearby. In the bathroom, the kitchen, the garden. Taps are in offices, shopping malls, around sports fields, in schools, factories, and on farms. In fact, getting a supply of clean water is normally no problem. For millions of South Africans, however, there are no taps. Water is not readily available. Every day, the women and girls of the villages have to go and fetch it from the river. Sometimes they cannot get enough, for they are tired and the distance is far. In some villages, there are hand pumps, which the women use to get a few liters of water. But it is hard work. It would be no exaggeration to say that obtaining water is the biggest single struggle they face in their daily lives. Even with a well or a river nearby, there are problems.
We used to get water from the well. Now we get water from the pump. It was unhygienic to get water from the well. It was not good. It was not healthy, and it was dangerous for the kids and us too.
But all of that is changing, thanks to an ingenious invention called the Roundabout Playpump. The sound of children playing means that a supply of clean, fresh water is at hand.
The idea is to try and supplement the water-scarce areas of South Africa. There's a lot of places that are just so far off the map that they're just never going to get reticulated water supplied to their villages because of the distance that is involved. What they need is a standalone, low-maintenance system, and this is it. We drill a borehole, or in conjunction with the Department of Agriculture, we drill a borehole at a school or a community centre, install the play pump. The play pump is totally standalone, doesn't need any petrol, diesel, electricity, nothing. Just the power of children having some fun and playing.
With so much more water available, the need arose for the excess to be stored. The design decided upon was a 2,500 litre tank placed 7 metres above the ground. Such a tank could serve dozens of families.
Basically, what this is and how it works is that it's a positive displacement pump that's bolted on top of a borehole. This stand is directly on top of the borehole, and the water is pumped with this roundabout every time it makes a revolution. As you can see, it's easy for one person just to spin it. When there's 20 children on it, it's effortless. The point is this, is that the water is pumped by the children, turning in either direction, makes no difference which way they go, and the water gets pumped from underground along a series of pipes into that tank, and it's stored in that tank for future use, so that when the people come here to collect water, they just use a tap like you and I do. It's really simple stuff.
But there is more. The play pump system needs to be maintained, and there are capital costs associated with installation. With hundreds of villages in need of this unique water delivery system, a means had to be found to generate cash, or else the entire plan would have failed on economic grounds.
Besides being a roundabout, a children's toy and a water pump, the system is a sustainable unit. Everything that goes in a rural community has to have a maintenance component, and how do you do that? We came up with an idea of putting advertising on the tank, and the advertising, the funds that we get from the advertisers pay for the maintenance and sustainability into the future. There's two types of advertising. We donate 50% of the advertising space to corporate social messages for the community. It can be, well, in South Africa we use HIV/AIDS awareness, but it could be dysentery, cholera, drug abuse, anything. It doesn't really matter. The other two advertisements are the commercial ones, and we advertise the kind of things that rural people buy, like tea, coffee, sugar, that kind of stuff. And those funds make the system a complete package and sustainable into the future.
Roundabout Outdoor has already won an International Design Award.
In January 2000, we were invited to Washington, D.C. to showcase our idea because the World Bank liked the idea of the HIV/AIDS awareness because they believe that the target market we're talking to is exactly the population that is the most vulnerable, females and young children. And we went to the States and competed against 1,500 other applicants, and we were shortlisted in the final 300 and we won their competition. And so this is the World Bank approved water extraction system, if you like.
Awards are all good and well, but it's results on the ground that matter. And as far as these people are concerned, Roundabout Outdoor has changed their lives.
The kids are happy too to play on the roundabout. They feel happy when they come back from school. They just come and play.
The Miracle Stories, brought to you by the Telcom Foundation, adding value to the communities we serve.